All right. Got people hopping on. Can you guys see me and hear me okay? Can you guys see me and hear me okay? If you could throw a yes in the comments, that'd be great. Awesome. What's up, Johnny, Mark, John? Chuck E. Cheese is on here. All right, I'm going to give it another minute or two here, guys, and we're going to get started. If you guys have any other questions, toss them in the comments, and I'm going to answer them all tonight. And feel free to drop some questions in there for Tbone. He wants to answer a couple, I think, too. What's going on, guys? Thanks for joining. All right. All right.
What?
Boy Mom X3. That guy in the hat's hot. I hope that's a girl. All right, guys, let's go ahead and get going here. So appreciate all of the questions and all the support. Did this a few times with the charger, and I really think that these have helped answer a lot of questions, kind of keep you guys updated with the build, everything that we got going on with that. You guys give me some really good ideas, with this as well. And yeah, I think it's beneficial for everybody. So I threw a thing out there the other day on Instagram asking you guys for questions for this, and then also on YouTube. So I'm going to go off of that first, but if you have other questions, drop them in the comments, and I'm going to get to every single one of them tonight. So first and foremost, the most common question that I've been getting over the last probably about 2 weeks or so is, where the hell is the GTO? What's kind of crazy is that everybody went like 6 to 8 months without asking a single question about the GTO or anything about it. And honestly, it didn't get a ton of views even when I was making videos for the GTO. But there was something that happened over the course of making the videos for that and, doing all the sheet metal work on the GTO. And that was getting the 71 Cuda. And it's a different, it's a different feeling. It's a much different experience. And, I frankly lost a lot of interest because everything was focused on the charger and the Cuda, that the GTO kind of got lost. I still have it, still have all the parts, still have every intention of building that car. Probably won't end up keeping it. So it will be available at some point. If you guys are interested in it, you're more than welcome to reach out to me if it's something that you guys want. But I do intend on bringing it back this year and at least getting the rest of the sheet metal work done. We've got to get the quarters done on it, and then I've got just about every part needed to get it put back together. But I did the PHS on it. It is a real, it's a 389 tri-power 4-speed car, blue, Fontaine blue with blue interior. Plan on going back to the original color on that. But yeah, I've got it. It's definitely not one of my favorite cars. Certainly not one that I plan on keeping, but it is one that I plan on finishing. and a big reason for that is there's a lot of interest in it, especially as of late. So I feel like I got more comments on the GTO than I did the Cuda when I started posting the Cuda video. So it was kind of funny. But one car that I did have that I really, really liked was a 69 GTO. And my buddy Calvin and I, we went to a place one day. I was like doing fiberglass dashes and dash repair for people on Datsuns. And I went and looked at this junkyard, and this guy, he had a bunch of old Datsuns in his yard. And so he said, yeah, I've probably got, 50 to 100 muscle cars in storage. And I asked him, like, hey, show me, I want to see this. And he ended up opening up the door in this shop, and there was like GTO, Chevelle, Firebird, Le Mans. Like, it was just, and they were completely covered in dust. I'll post photos on my Instagram so you guys can check it out. But I couldn't leave that day. Like, this is several years ago, probably close to 10 years ago now. But I remember telling my buddy Kelvin, I was like, we're not going back to work today, because I think we went there on a lunch break or something. And I ended up leaving that day, and it was a 69 GTO. And that car was one that I wish I would have kept. I think we've all got cars that, that kind of got away from us. That's one that I took it straight to the car wash and just washed it off. And it was unbelievably nice. And again, I'll post photos on my Instagram so you guys can see it. I've got pictures of it completely covered in dust because it had been sitting for like 30 years. And then all I did was take it straight to the car wash, and it was in like pristine condition. And I'm really bummed that I ended up selling that car. I doubled my money on it. And I think, what was this, 2016? I paid $5,000 for it, which is pretty crazy. So that's one. That's a GTO that I definitely wish I wouldn't have let get away. But the 65, it's a fun car. I think it could be a really cool car. It's some people's dream car. Unfortunately, I ended up getting bit by the Mopar bug, and now I've got a very expensive, time-consuming Charger on my hands and a 71 Cuda that just got cut in half in the last video. So we're going to be focusing on those primarily. The Charger, what's next? When are we going to see it again? So as you guys see it, obviously it's in the same exact condition that it was in the last video. So really what comes next, guys, you can see my breath in this video. It's cold. It's colder than hell here. I've got ice all the way up to my garage doors. I can't wheel the car outside to get it blasted. And then I'm going to immediately epoxy the bottom side of it, flip it over. We've got to get the suspension on it, get weight in the car, so that way everything can kind of settle. And then we can start on the bodywork on the top end. But really, aside from the window pillars, I think, and then also the roof, like every panel on the exterior is brand new. So we're going to be really doing some nice door gapping and panel matching and things like that on it. But it's not going to need a ton of bodywork on the top side. So, but that's kind of what comes next. So I'm hoping, as long as this weather breaks, it's been colder than hell here. Been getting a lot of snow lately, and it's just unfortunately it's diagonal across my double car bay here, and it's taking up a lot of space. And I wish I could wheel it outside and get it going, but it's going to kind of be sitting where it is for right now. What color for the Charger? So if you guys remember back probably about a year ago, I reached out to everybody. I wanted it to be a vote as far as what color you guys wanted to see it, because I was kind of impartial. Just like the Cuda was that same kind of pea green with the green interior in it, and just green on green is not my thing at all. So asked everybody, and it was like, the new Hell Raisin, the pearl white. I said, trying to remember what else, but everybody ended up voting, and so we're going to do it F8 green. So it's going to be F8 green. It's going to be a slick top. It's not going to be a vinyl top car. And it's going to have black interior on it as well. I'm really, really excited. I'm hoping to get it painted this year. And again, I do all the work myself. So, we'll be wheeling it outside, blasting it, epoxying it here. And then also I'm doing the body work, wheeling it outside, and then painting it in an inflatable paint booth in my driveway. So, and I'm going to show you guys how to do all of that, or at least my process for doing that. If I had it to do all over again, would I use a jig on the Charger, Cuda, or the GTO? Really, really good question. A jig is definitely helpful. I think with the Charger, it ended up just working out well, and took a lot of measuring, a lot of screwing up along the way. I'm not going to lie to you, but it came together really nice. But, on the Cuda, there's so much solid metal on that car, and don't laugh when I say that, but the floors need to be done, the frame rails and stuff need to be done. But really the key thing for me is the rockers. I think that you can build everything else around like a solid foundation of rockers and also good door openings. So that way all that stuff is there, your main structure, your inner structure is all there. And a lot of the rest of the car can actually be pieced together, using reference points that are already on the car. So, even with the, like the front clip and the same process that we're going to do on the 71 Cuda, like the, right here behind me, I'm trying to point behind me, the torsion support right there. There we go. There's these fingers that kind of sit up on top of the rocker and these two indents, right? So at least how far back the torsion support needs to go. And then obviously the front end with the inner fenders, they sit firmly tight up against the firewall. And when you clip it all together and you screw it all together and then you fit all of the panels on it, it fits good. It's all square, burn it in. And, that's exactly what we did. Now, if you threw it onto a jig today, would it line up like pristine to factory specs? Probably not. But I can guarantee you the panels are going to fit great. It's going to go straight down the road. And I'm really not going to, notice any difference whatsoever in the car. The back end, I still had really good reference points with where everything was at there. And if you guys remember back, there was so many times that I've had to screw the car together and unscrew it together. And that was just making sure it all went back together. Everything closed flush, everything lined up exactly where it needed to be. And then the slow process of actually welding it and making it permanent. So there weren't too many pieces that I welded on the Charger. And then I had to actually, cut out or actually have to start over on. So I think we did pretty good there. The Cuda, I think, is going to be a lot more straightforward, a lot simpler of a build. With the front clip, we've already got it from the 71 Charger that we've got. And then I'm well underway now on the firewall repairs, and kind of the reason for this video, I want to be posting weekly for you guys. But you should see next week all of the firewall stripping done, all the firewall repairs done. And then I'll be bringing that front clip inside, mostly to dry it out because it's been sitting out in the snow. But going to blast that, clean it up, get it in epoxy, and start fitting it on the car. And just about by then, I should have a few pallets of brand new fresh sheet metal from AMD. I've got like the guild fenders for the Cuda. I've got shaker hood, all that kind of stuff coming for that, and I'm so excited to see that car with new metal on it. So. But if you have access to a jig, if you want to build a jig, it's definitely the way to go. I think a lot of it too, if you've got the confidence to do it without one, or if you are familiar with it, if you've done it before and you're comfortable without it, it really kind of depends how far down you have to tear that car. But if you're just pulling a pan out, there's no reason to put it on a jig. Okay. All right. You're going to be using QA1 components on the builds. I do plan on that. So, neither of these cars are like numbers cars. They're both 318, 3-speed cars, actually, both of them, 3 on the tree. So I have zero, ambition to take it back to a factory suspension, or really factory in just about any way. You can see we've beefed the Charger up to handle some pretty serious horsepower. We're doing the same exact thing with the Cuda, because that's going to get a monster of an engine that I'll tell you guys about here in just a second. But yeah, I do plan on running a modern suspension. Both cars are going to be a full coilover suspension with the 4-link in the back. I've got the Dana 60 here for the Charger already. It actually came out of a 69 Charger, so that's going to line up really, really sweet. We've still got to get a good rear end for the Cuda. But yeah, I do plan on running aftermarket just about everything. The interior I'll probably leave pretty close. I'm not a big fan of the late model interiors and the old stuff. Like, I want it to look old, feel old on the inside, but drive like a new car when you're riding it. Where can I find that sweet Rust Bucket Restos merch? So get this question a lot, guys. At the bottom of every YouTube video, right underneath the video, you guys will see the links to the store. There's all sorts of different stuff on there. If you guys want to see more things, I don't care if you're looking for shirts for your kids or a bandana for your dog, I've got it on there. And yeah, any money that comes in through the merch, is 100% reinvested back into the builds. So yeah, but appreciate all the support on that. All right, on to the Cuda. So engine, transmission, suspension. Is it going to be a drag car or a cruiser? So the Cuda, I have a 426 Hemi already for the Cuda, and I'm so excited about it. Now, those of you guys that know, and you can go on eBay right now and find a 426 Hemi complete engine. They're probably 25 to 40,000 bucks, right? And most of them actually have to be redone. when you buy them anyways too. So I ended up finding mine on Facebook Marketplace. I got it actually, so it was a bare block for a couple $1,000, and then I've been slowly piecing together, all of the other parts for that engine. So when I've got everything ready, it's going straight to the machine shop. But I'm so excited. I mean, 71 Cuda with a 426 Hemi. I don't know if it gets any cooler than that. Transmission will probably be, 5 or 6 speed most likely. Suspension, full QA1, and then drag car or a cruiser. I mean, it's not really going to be a drag car. I want it to be a fun, street strip car that I can take to a car show and, have a great time with, but then also, throw it up on the highway and drive it anywhere I want to, and show people the build. So it's not going to be an exclusive drag car. None of these are. I'm going to probably daily drive the shit out of all these cars. I mean, that's why I'm building them. I want to drive them and put miles on them and take them to shows and show people what we did. All right. What color for the Cuda? I am a huge fan. I'm not even going to throw this out for a vote. I think I really love Winchester gray. I'm going to do, so that car right now is, again, that same kind of shitty pea green color. If it was dark green, it might be something worth keeping, but it is just like a puke green. I don't know what it is. I have a thing with the green cars. I get them. But yeah, it's going to be Winchester gray with a black interior. And yeah, I'm really excited. I've actually already sourced an interior for it. I've got some really, really nice bucket seats in black that are original, and you'd swear that they're recovered, but they're in amazing shape. That said, if you guys need green interior parts, you need bucket seats, anything that you see me pull off the Cuda in videos, there's most likely a strong possibility it's not going back on the car. So if I can in any way help with your builds with that teardown, just let me know, and we'll work something out. All right. So that was it as far as the car questions that came through YouTube or Instagram. There's a couple other ones. Can dig it training. So every couple months or so, there are those of you that watch like Motor Trends, see the Bitch and Rides TV show. Dave Kindig and the Kindig It team over there, and then also like Cato from Cato's Upholstery. They do these classes here locally in Salt Lake City, and like I think one of them is called Bitch and Stitching, and it's really cool. You actually get to work with those guys and learn from them, and it's all hands-on stuff. So I had the chance to actually go train with Bryce Green. He used to be at Kindigit's place, but now he's at Big Kid Blocks. He started his own company. And I tell you what, I spent a weekend with him and probably learned more in that weekend than I would have in years of doing it by myself. Number one, he's a hell of a nice guy. He can answer every single question. And I mean, the class was like 15 of us or so in there. And we spent 3 days, like all hands on. He actually had I think it was a 69 Camaro in there. And we actually got to cut on the car. We got to panel match. We got to gap. We got to lead on that car. Do a lot of the bodywork and metalwork stuff. And it was just a really, really cool experience. If you guys ever have the chance to do that, he does a bodywork class, and then he also does a paint class that, I mean, you learn from the best. You guys watch the TV shows, you see the quality of the work that they do on the show. And it's great to, to just be there and learn from the guy, because he's so damn good at what he does. So I did that training about a year ago, and yeah, it was an awesome experience. And I'm going to show you guys a lot of the things that I learned. I've already showed you the leading. That was something that I learned from there, and it's something that you learn the right way to do it, and you got to process. And that guy can give you like part number by part number. You use this epoxy with this hardener or this reducer for this reason, and he'll tell you why not to use the other stuff with like specific examples. I mean, the guy's just a master, and would highly recommend those classes. I think the Bitch and Stitching one with Cato, it's a full interior class with him and what's his name from the Kindig shop, the interior Justin from the Kindig shop. So really, really cool experience. Are you going to try to post weekly? Yep, I'm going to try to stay on that schedule with you guys. I know it's been kind of hard really for the last year, just going through a lot of personal stuff here, but trying to get back on schedule and get back on a more normal routine for you guys. And I appreciate the warm welcome coming back as well. Does Tbone have his own tools? You want to tell him what tools he got? You don't want to tell him?
No.
So Tbone has a full toolbox, like a double-decker toolbox. He's got sockets. He's got wrenches. For Christmas this year, he got an impact. It's kind of crazy about him. And what's really awesome is that, like, I think it was his 4th birthday. It was when we were still in Ohio.
No, 5.
Is your 5th birthday?
No, 6.
No, I think it was your 5th birthday.
No, 6.
But anyways, instead of asking for toys for Christmas, he actually wanted a toolbox and a creeper so he could roll around in the garage with Dad. So it's pretty awesome. But he's not the best welder, but he's an absolute badass with a grinder. So he's learning. And you guys saw him actually get to weld here in the most recent video. And he's getting better. He's getting really good. He's got his own helmet. He's got his own PPE. So he's doing awesome. So with that, guys, that's my list of questions. I'm going to hop into the chat here and start asking you guys or answering your guys' questions. What color are you going to paint Tbone's ride? So you guys have seen, and this goes back even like 2 years since I started working on the Charger back in Ohio. But I picked up a 68 GTX pedal car, and it's actually a metal, like it's an actual tin pedal car. It's a real original one. I bought it. It had, patina on it, whatever. The kids just wanted their own car to work on. And so we did some welding on it. We did, some repairs. We stripped it down, and they're kind of pacing neck and neck with me on the Charger. And so as I've gotten it up on the rotisserie, they made their own little rotisserie, and they're, constantly out here sanding it. So the plan is that they're actually going to paint that car at the same time that I paint the Charger. But what color do you want to paint that car?
Goldish yellowish.
Goldish yellowish? All right, we're going to have to work on that. All right, we'll come back to that later. But they're pretty stoked about it, and they're going to paint it themselves and do it all themselves. All right. Did you ever think to connect your frame connector all the way through the transmission cross member and attach it to the front clip from work? So I seen Chris Birdsong do that. He makes his own frame connectors. I definitely think he could do that. I know he's got, his pros and cons of why you don't use the US car tool kit like I use. So if you look back here, how do I get there? There we go. So it actually connects the frame connector straight through. Oops, sit down, buddy. It connects the frame connector through that trans cross member all the way up to the actual frame rail, and just provides even more, of a rigid structure to it. I don't see anything wrong with it. I didn't really care to do that. I think what I've got there is pretty solid. I don't think the intent is for you to actually weld. Move your head, buddy. I don't think the intent is for you to actually weld the frame connector is completely solid, but as you can see, I did that all the way across the bottom of that. So I don't think I'm going to have any issues with strength on that. Have I mastered the welder yet? Definitely put in a lot of time welding. Put in a lot of rolls of welding wire. I think that's how you kind of judge how many hours you spend out here. So yeah, we're getting a lot of welding in, a lot of grinding. Certainly getting better and cutting my teeth on that. I hope you get a 426 pistol grip 4-speed. That'd be pretty cool. Did I settle on a motor for the GTO? So I've actually got, I think I have 3 400 blocks here at the house. One of them's cleaned up and back from a machine shop. And I think the other 2 are, they're not like super highly sought after 400s, but I definitely have some that I could clean up, but it'll probably just get one of the 400s back into it. All right. Tbone, is that better than ribeye? I hope you teach Tbone how to drive a stick. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. What's my favorite thing about Ogden so far? Man, when I was in Ohio, it was tough. I missed the mountains so much. And, I'm originally from the Midwest. I'm originally from Michigan, but having the chance to come out here, I think I came out here in like 2014 or so for work. And I came back, and it's like, if there's ever a chance, we got to get out there. And then coming out here in the outdoors, the mountains, the people, just the whole atmosphere out here is fantastic. So we just really, really like it here a lot. The scenery never gets old. The hunting, the fishing never gets old. And a lot of sweet car finds out here, except all the ones that I seem to get are from the Midwest and the rusted to shit. So what was the sad story about the owner of the Charger? So if you guys go back, episode 1 of the Charger, I'll give you guys like real high level with it. But I found the car super early in the morning. I woke up, just got on Marketplace. I found it. It was for sale, excuse me, for $5,000. And the guy said, all the ad said was 318. It's all there. Come get it, is what it said. So I immediately texted the guy, and he's writing me in like 1-word responses, like really short. And I finally got an address out of him. I didn't even have a car hauler. I bought a car hauler on the way, got to the house, and the guy was really, not in very good health. He had a ton of cars there. We actually put a deal together. I picked up a 2-door 57 Bel Air from him as well. And I bought the Charger. And the story about the Charger, it had been sitting since 1978. The old man, he was the original owner of the Charger. He ended up giving it to his son when his son was 16, and then his son ended up dying in a car wreck. And so the day he died, he actually parked the car in the driveway or out back, or whatever, and it sat for 42 years until he pulled it out front of his house and put it up for sale. And the only reason he was selling it was to actually pay for his own funeral, because he was in such bad shape. He was actually like driving a golf cart on oxygen. And he showed me his property. He had an RT Coronet, a 440 car out there. He had a bunch of stuff out there. But so I ended up working a deal out with him. I got the car. I paid $5,000 for it, which at the time I said, man, I paid a lot of money for a car that needs everything. And the pictures of that are also on Instagram. So I picked up the Charger that day. I brought it home. He couldn't find the title for the 57. And so I backed off that deal. And then I found out that he ended up passing away like 2 weeks after I bought the car. And then what's super crazy is that I go to the guy's obituary, and he was actually a NASCAR driver from like way back when. So even crazier. But when I was loading up the Charger, I mean, he's crying, I'm crying, everybody's crying. He didn't want to see the car go because I think that was the last part of his son that was still, around him. And he took it really hard, and I promised him that I would somehow show the family, bring it back to the family. So I'm still in touch with that family, and they watch the videos on YouTube. And that was actually part of why I started the build, was to at least show them the process, help other people with their builds, but just to kind of keep everybody kind of up to speed with where the car was. But that's kind of the story about the Charger. And actually, I've got a newspaper from September 78 that was still in the glove box of that car. So it's pretty crazy to go through it and see, like, I think there's an Ace Hardware ad in there that like the tool of the week is like a rake, and you could buy it for $1, I think, at the time. So it's pretty cool. I think is it like steaks for like $1 a pound or something like that. So pretty cool to look back at. Also, hairstyles were definitely in back then. So all right. What are you going to coat the Charger underbody with? So I'm going to strip it, and then I'm going to epoxy it. And then, I don't know if I'll use Raptor liner on it or not, or some other undercoating. But the benefit of the Raptor is you can actually top coat over that, and you can paint body color, the underneath of the car. And I want the underneath to look just as good as the top. So I'll have to do a little bit more research when I get to that point, but it'll be something along those lines. But my biggest thing is I just don't want it to ever rust again. For me, for this guy, for whoever, gets the car down the road, I don't want them to ever have to do what I've had to do on this car again. Is the Cuda a Resto mod or original? It's going to be a Resto mod. But again, it's getting the 426 Hemi. It's going to have, just the look, the feel, the muscle car feel to it, but it's going to have more of a modern suspension in it and, kind of feel like a newer car. I believe that a complete undercarriage restoration is worth about $20 to $25K if done at a retail shop. Floor pans, trunk pan, frame rails, torsion bars, cross member. Agree. Yeah, with a restoration, guys, your time and your money is all in the metalwork. It really is. And, it's, I don't even want to know, I guess, how much money I spent or how much time I've spent on the bottom side of this car, or really just in general. But it would be a 6-figure restoration job all day by the end of it. And again, I do it. It's therapy to me. I really enjoy it. It's something my kids and I can do together. And, again, I'm not doing it to sell it for, $50,000 or $100,000 on the back end of it. I'm just doing it. Number one, I can't afford to buy, a $60,000, $80,000 car. Because what's so crazy about these, I paid $5,000 for this. That is an absolute steal nowadays. I see 68, 69, 70s, going for $15,000, $20,000 that still need all the same metalwork that my cars have had. So the Cuda was a little bit more expensive. For me, it was actually about twice as much as I paid for the Charger. And, parts are even more expensive for the Cuda than they are the Charger that I found so far. But yeah, you can expect to pay an easy 20 to 25, again, depending on how bad it is. If your car needs the extent that mine did, all four rails, all the pans, it's all in the time. So it's not really the parts. The parts are the cheapest part of that. So what is my daily ride? So I just have a GMC pickup, a Denali pickup that I drive. Got to be big enough to tote all these kids around. All right. The Charger is all that matters. All right. Hey, Tbone, you and your dad and grandfather are awesome. Yeah, if you guys caught that, so I actually had my dad out here when Tanner was welding, and there's a point in the video where it's me, Tbone, and my dad all working on the car together, and it was pretty cool to capture that. Something we'll definitely look back on. How much do I pay Tbone in the Sweatshop? What do we pay you in Pop-Tarts and Oreos and juice boxes?
No.
Not even that?
$100.
$100. Yeah, okay. All right. A friend of Uncle Tony doesn't use a jig in his shop. Did I consider a full frame or chassis for the Cuda? Yeah, they sell them. They're crazy expensive again. So that car, is going to get that front clip from the 71 Charger. The rear end of it, I don't know yet if I'm going to use the AMD rails or not. I think it's Dynacorn that actually sells the rails, the trunk pan, all of it already welded together, ready to pop the entire thing in at once. I think it's like $1,000 or $1,500 or so. I can't remember, but it'd be pretty nice to have everything all welded together, ready to go, and just pop it right up in there. Curious about the donor front end for the Cuda. I didn't know that the Charger was the same. Yeah, I did not know. So when I first got the Cuda, I started pricing out the parts for it and just going through the AMD catalog because it needed both rails. It needs the radiator support. It needs the inner fenders, all the brackets, all the pieces, and then you got to get the geometry right on everything. Needs a K-frame, obviously. I mean, it needed everything, and I priced it out, and it was like $3,000 or $3,500. So I got on Facebook. I threw it out there saying, hey, is there anybody out there that has a front clip for an E-body for those years? And I found two of them, and both of them were absolutely destroyed, and they wanted like $2,500 for each one of them. And there was no way. And Chris Birdsong had reached out to me saying, hey, do you know that the B-body and E-body front clips would be the same in 71? Had no clue. And if you go on AMD's website, the part numbers are actually the same. Even the part number, I think, for the floor pan is the same in both of those cars. I had no idea. And so I hopped on eBay and I actually found a 71 Charger, and it was like the perfect donor car. Number one, it was a California car, no parts, no title, no nothing, no wiring, completely stripped down. And the front clip is absolutely cherry on it. And I think he had it for sale for $500. I offered him $300. I think we settled at $350, which you're never going to find nowadays. And so I think I had to pay like $600 in gas to drive there. I remember gas here is like $4 a gallon. I think I paid $6.38 in California. I couldn't believe it. But drove all the way down there, got the car for $350, drove it back here. I think I cut it in half the day I got back. And I sold the back end of that car for $500 on KSL. And the guy was super happy to get it because all the parts on it were usable. And so I actually paid for most of my trip and got the front clip for damn near free. And I made a video on it of stripping that front clip down, and like every bracket, everything, like every weldable surface that I need to weld onto the Cuda, I saved everything on it. Not a single one of them got chewed up from the air chisel or anything like that. And it should make a great donor front clip. So yeah, I had no idea they weren't the same, but and I definitely don't know everything about these cars, but the network of people, especially on, Facebook or Instagram or wherever, or even making these videos, I learn a lot from the comments and from other people. So it's been really good. Does Tbone, or hi Tbone, does your dad let you listen to your music, or do you have to listen to his? And if so, do you like it?
No. He doesn't let me.
Yeah, it's a big negative on that. So, but I will tell you guys, back on my birthday, my first concert was in 1996. My parents took me to see Kiss, and it was something that I will remember for the rest of my life. It was an awesome thing, and it kind of, I was, played guitar since I was a kid. I've loved it. And, seeing Kiss at a young age was a huge, huge thing for me. And so, believe it or not, both the boys are obsessed with Slipknot. If you can believe it, they love Slipknot. And actually, on my birthday this year, Slipknot came to Salt Lake City, and I got to take the boys and my buddy Jake, my neighbor, and their first concert was Slipknot. It was an amazing experience. But they're cool if we listen to that in the garage. But no, for the most part, we listen to what I want to listen to in here. All right, let me see what else you got here for questions. Is that the original motor and transmission with the Cuda? I believe it is. I mean, it's 318. It's nothing too crazy. The story behind that's super crazy to me, though. So if you guys know, on Facebook, there's a guy who goes by the name of Joe King. The dude is incredible with his network of people, and he's got like 15 chargers at any given time. He is the man for any sort of parts, or if you need a vehicle delivered anywhere in the country, he's like the guy that will deliver it to your house for a very reasonable price. But he was putting a deal together for a bunch of cars, and one of them was this Cuda. There was another Cuda, they ended up being sequential VIN number cars. The original owner and his brother went to the dealership like the same day and walked away with the green one, the one that I got, and then an orange one. And Joe was there, and he ended up buying like all the cars up, or put a deal together for everything. And he got both Cudas, and he knew I was looking for a 71. So I ended up getting the green one. It was the cheaper of the two in way worse condition than the other one. But kind of a crazy story. But, this car, and like a lot of Chargers and other badass cars nowadays, I mean, a lot of these cars got parked in fields and turned into parts cars. And so that's why, the torsion bar was missing off of it. That's why it had that one hell of a lean in the front. It had the inner fenders, the radiator support cut out of it. Like somebody just hacked out parts that they needed to repair another car. So that's why we're having to do all the work on the front clip on it. But kind of a crazy story with that one too. But I don't plan on keeping that. If it was a big block car or a rare numbers car, it would be different. But I have no intention of building a 318 or really keeping that. Great to see you and your son working together. I think you and your dad. Yeah, I had my dad in there too. But no, Tbone loves being out here. We're out here quite a bit, and yeah, it's a good time. If I happen to see you at Smith and Edwards, can I say hi? Absolutely. So I live pretty close to Smith and Edwards. I go there quite a bit. Mopar rally wheels on either or both cars. I'm not set on the wheel choice yet for the car. If you guys have any good ones, definitely throw them out there and show me. But I think I'll choose kind of when I get there, and also, what's got the right stance, because both the cars are going to be pretty low to the ground too. Is there any future for the slotted mags? So that's so funny to me. So the slot mags that were on the Cuda and that have been on the Charger before are just some spares that I have with, tires that barely hold air. I do not like the look of slot mags at all. I do have some other older Kragers, the one that have like the circles in them. If you look back, I think it's actually the photo that's going to be the thumbnail for this video. It's got the old Kragers with the holes, and super, super cool. I like those ones, but it's going to be something that's going to be very wide in the back, probably something that I'm going to have to go and pick up, because I'm not a fan of any of the sets that I have today. Do you determine what the engine's going to be in the Charger? I thought you were looking for a Hemi in it too. Yep. So I'm going to give you guys an update at a later day for the engine on the Charger, because we are going to go in a different direction. It's not going to be a Hemi, but it is going to be a big block. Nice backdrop. A Hemi Cuda on my 16th birthday would be my asking price for helping. Johnny, Kiss was your first concert too. That's awesome. Yeah, I was in like 4th grade, and I think we were something like 11 rows from the stage or something. I do remember, and I maybe I dreamed this, but I had my face painted, right? The kids did not have masks on at Slipknot or anything, but yeah, I had my face painted. I remember, I was standing up on top of the chair, and Gene Simmons like pointed out like to me. And I remember my dad, my mom were like freaking out, and I was freaking out, to have that happen. So pretty cool. What got you into doing body work? I'll be honest with you guys, I couldn't afford to pay anybody else to do it. And I've always needed cars that needed body work. or needed some work, or I've always been tinkering with stuff. I first started, just doing really basic and easy and very shady filler jobs, body filler jobs. And this goes back to, I lived in England for about 5 years. And then I got into fiberglassing, and I did a lot of fiberglass work, and I was doing custom parts and speaker boxes and different things. I did a lot of those over the years. So I knew how to make it look good. And then especially when I started to get a lot better at the bodywork side of it, could really do a lot of things with it. But, especially the metalwork thing, that's something that I've picked up, I guess, probably over the last 10 or so years. And I learn something every time I do it, but it's a passion of mine. I really, really love the metalwork and have an appreciation for people that can do badass metalwork. And I love seeing that. How did I drop the weight? Well, just eating better and making better life choices. And also, unfortunately, the divorce diet led me to drop a lot of the weight. Have you decided on a color for the Charger? Yep, it's F8 green. Tbone, is that a Mustang color for the GTX? No. If it was a Mustang color, I might have to crush the GTX.
What GTX? What is a GTX?
That's your pedal car, buddy.
Oh.
That's your pedal car. Okay. Nope, he's not a fan of Mustangs at all. Mill Creek, he hates them. Yeah.
No, he loves them.
No. All right, Tbone's going to have to leave this live stream here in just a second.
No.
Okay, found some rust holes on my build, so I reviewed your videos to get tips for doing it. Awesome. And then just finished watching a real channel replacement on. Cool. Yeah, unfortunately, a lot of my cars, well, really all of them have needed kind of full window channel replacements on them. So made a few videos on that with the GTO and then also the Charger, and there will definitely be some on the Cuda as well. So with that, guys, we're like almost 45 minutes into it, and I don't have any more questions on here. So give you guys about another minute or so to toss them in there. But, first and foremost, I really just wanted to thank everybody. Thank you for joining this and listening to me ramble here for the last 45 minutes. But no, I appreciate you guys sticking around. I know I took a lot of time off over the last year. And again, just to try to get my own personal shit in order. And now that that's, for the most part behind me and things are going great. So back out here again, and Tbone and I are, working real hard to get these builds turned out for you guys, and especially so we can get them painted, get them built, and enjoy them. And can't wait to be cruising in them and bringing them out to show all you guys. So thank you guys for sticking around for that. So with that, are we done? Mm-hmm. We're all done. Okay, guys, thanks again. Take care. I'll see you guys real soon.